Hi classes, today we're going to start I Am Malala. This is a memoir about how one girl stood up for education and changed the world. Each day we're going to read a chapter, and then at the end of the chapter you're going to answer a question. Prologue. When I closed my eyes, I could see my bedroom. The bed is unmade, the fluffy blanket in a heap, because I rushed out for school, late for an exam. My school schedule is open on my desk to page date 9 October 2012, and my school uniform, my white shalwar, and my blue camise is on a peg on the wall, waiting for me. I can hear the neighborhood kids playing cricket in the alley behind our home. I can hear the hum of the bazaar not far away. And if I listen very closely, I can hear Safina, my friend next door, tapping on the wall we share so we could tell each other a secret. I smell cooking as my mother works in the kitchen. I hear my little brothers fighting over the remote, the TV switching between WWE, SmackDown, and cartoons. Soon I'll hear my father's deep voice as he calls out my nickname. Janie, he'll say from the Persian one for dear one. How was the school running today? He was asking how things were at the Kushal School for Girls, which he founded and I attended. But I always took the opportunity to answer the question literally. Abba, I'd joke. The school is walking, not running. This was my way of telling him I thought things could be better. I left that beloved home in Pakistan one morning, planning to dive back under the covers as soon as the school let out, and ended up a world away. Some people say it's too dangerous for me to go back there now, that I'll never be able to return. And so, from time to time, I go there in my mind. But now, another family lives in that home. Another girl sleeps in my bedroom, while I'm thousands of miles away. I don't care much about the things in my room, but I do worry about the school trophies on my bookcase. I even dream about them sometimes. There's a runners-up award from this first speaking contest I've ever entered. And more than 45 golden cups and medals for being first in my class in exams, debates, and competitions. To someone else, they might be mere trinkets made of plastic. To someone else, they may simply look like prizes for good grades. But for me, they are reminders of the life I loved and the girl I was. I left home that fateful day. When I open my eyes, I am in a new bedroom. It is in a sturdy brick house in a damp and chilly place called Birmingham, England. Here, there is water running from every tap, hot or cold as you like. No need to carry cans of gas from the market to heat the water. Here, there are large rooms with shiny, wide floors filled with large furniture and a large TV. There is hardly a sound in this calm, leafy suburb. No children laughing and yelling. No women downstairs chopping vegetables and gossiping with my mother. No men smoking cigarettes and debating politics. Sometimes, though, even these thick walls between us, I can hear someone in my family crying for home. But then my father will burst through the front door, his voice booming. Janie, he'll say, how was your school today? Now there's no play on words. He's not asking about the school he runs and I attend, but there's a note of worry in his voice as if he fears I won't be there to reply, because it was not so long ago that I was nearly killed, simply because I was speaking out about my right to go to school. It was the most ordinary of days. I was 15 in grade 9, and I'd stayed up far too late the night before studying for an exam. I'd already heard the rooster crow at dawn, but had fallen back to sleep. I heard the morning call to prayer from the mosque nearby, but managed to hide under my quilt. And I'd pretended not to hear my father come to wake me. Then my mother came and gently shook my shoulder. Wake up, Pisho, she said, calling me kitten in Pashto, the language of the Pashtun people. It's 7:30 and you're late for school. I had an exam on Pakistani studies, so I said a quick prayer to God. If it is your will, may I please come in first, I whispered. Oh, and thank you for all my success so far. I gulped down a little bit of fried egg and chapati with my tea. My youngest brother, Atal, and was in an especially cheeky mood that morning. He was complaining about all the attention I'd received for speaking out about girls getting the same education as boys, and my father teased him a little at breakfast. When Malala is prime minister someday, you can be her secretary, he said. Adel, the little clown in the family, pretended to be cross. No, he cried, she will be my secretary. All this banter nearly made me late, and I raced out the door, my half-eaten breakfast still on the table. I ran just down the lane, in time to see the school bus crammed with other girls on their way to school. I jumped in that Tuesday morning and never looked back at home. The ride to school was quick, just 5 minutes up the road and along the river. I arrived on time and the exam day passed as it always did. The chaos of Mingora city surrounded us as it looked honking horns and factory noises while we worked silently. bent over our papers, and hushed in concentration. By the day's end, I was tired but happy. I knew I'd done well on my first test. Let's stay on for the second trip, said Maniba, my best friend. That way we can chat a little longer. We always like to stay up for the late pickup. For days I'd had a strange gnawing feeling that something bad was going to happen. One night I'd find myself wondering about death. What is it like being dead? I wanted to know. I was alone in my room, so I turned toward Mecca and asked God, "What happens when you die?" I said. "How would it feel?" If I died, I wanted to be able to tell people what it felt like. "Malala, you silly girl," I said to myself then. "You'd be dead, and you couldn't tell people what it was like." Before I went to bed, I asked God for one more thing. Can I die a little bit and come back so I could tell people about it? But the next day it dawned bright and sunny, and so had the next and another one after that. And now I knew I'd done well in my exam. Whatever cloud had been hanging over my head had begun to clear away. So Maniba and I did what we always did. We had a good gossip, what face cream she was using, had one of the male teachers gone for a baldness cure, and now, for the first exam was over, how difficult would the next one be? When our bus was called, we ran down the steps as usual. Maniba and the other girls covered their heads and faces before we stepped outside the gate and got into the waiting Dinah, the white truck that was on the Cushel school bus. And as usual, our driver was ready with a magic trick to amuse us. That day, he made a pebble disappear. No matter how hard we tried, we couldn't figure out his secret. We piled inside, 20 girls and 2 teachers crammed into the 3 rows of benches stretching down the length of the Dinah. It was hot and sticky, and there were no windows, just a yellow plastic sheet that flapped against the side as we bounced along Mingora's crowded rush-hour streets. High above our road was a jumble of brightly colored rickshaws, women in flowing robes, men on scooters honking and zigzagging through the traffic. We passed a shopkeeper butchering chickens, a boy selling ice cream cones, a billard for Dr. Jimen's Hair Transplant Institute. Maniba and I were deep in conversation. I had many friends, but she was my friend of my heart, the one with whom I shared everything. That day, when we were talking about who would get the highest marks of this term, one of the girls started a song, and the rest of us joined in. Just after we passed the Little Giant Snack Factory in the bend in the road, not more than 3 minutes from the house, the van slowed to a halt. It was oddly quiet outside. "It's so calm today," I said to Maniba. "Where are all the people?" I don't remember anything after that, but here's the story that's been told to me. 2 young men in white robes stepped in front of our truck. "Is this the Cushel school bus?" one of them asked. The driver laughed. The name of the school was painted in black letters on the side. The other young man jumped onto the tailboard and leaned into the back. We were all sitting. "Who is Malala?" he asked. No one said a word, but a few girls looked in my direction. He raised his arm and pointed at me. Some of the girls screamed, and I squeezed Maniba's hand. Who is Malala? I am Malala, and this is my story.